On a sunny day on the 12th of July, Mrs. Jerry, a 56-year-old woman, went to the emergency department at the We Care Hospital when she felt a sudden shortness of breath, dizziness, and a feeling that there was a heavy weight in her chest. The emergency department was busy that day, and many people sought treatments. Mrs. Jerry was attended to by an emergency technician who asked her reason for the visit. After that, Mrs. Jerry waited in her seat, and a nurse approached her and asked Mrs. Jerry what she felt because she seemed healthy. The nurse took Mrs. Jerry's medical history and quickly examined her symptoms. After that, the nurse starts her diagnostic testing to determine her condition. All Mrs. Jerry's cardiac diagnostic tests came out normal. The nurse explained and handed out the test result to the attending physician. The attending physician suspected it as heartburn and diagnosed Mrs. Jerry with acid reflux. The physician suggested she take antacid drugs and was sent home. The following week, symptoms came back and flared up, so Mrs. Jerry took antacids as the attending emergency physician directed. After she took the antacids, her condition didn't subside. In fact, it got worse and she felt like dying. Mrs. Jerry was rushed to the same hospital, and on that second visit of her to the hospital, she learned that she was having a heart attack and was immediately admitted for emergency treatment. Due to the heart attack, Mrs. Jerry had muscle damage and scarring in the heart. Mrs. Jerry's family filed a complaint to the hospital and a doctor who misdiagnosed Mrs. Jerry's condition. The presented scenario was about Mrs. Jerry's misdiagnosed heart attack. On her first visit to the emergency department, the attending physician suspected her symptoms of heartburn, which misdiagnoses her symptoms as acid reflux only, when in fact, Mrs. Jerry had a heart attack. As a result of the misdiagnosis, Mrs. Jerry was sent home and not given more tests or a thorough and complete physical exam, and no proper treatment. Because of that, the following week, Mrs. Jerry had another heart attack, and this time had muscle damage and scarring in her heart due to the heart attack. You see, there are a lot of cases of misdiagnosed heart attacks. In the case of Mrs. Jerry, the attending emergency physician misdiagnosed her first heart attack because of its minor symptoms. Also, those minor symptoms mimic symptoms of other health conditions that are much more common, leading to misdiagnosis. Another reason for the misdiagnosed condition of Mrs. Jerry is that she was overlooked or stereotyped simply because she looked healthy and didn't fit the profile that healthcare professionals expect. So based on Mrs. Jerry's situation, on her first visit, which was her first heart attack, the attending nurse and the physician should have performed a thorough physical examination and should not have overlooked heart attacks in healthy patients. Also, they should have taken more tests and observed Mrs. Jerry more because an over-reliance on her result from the cardiac diagnostic test is also a factor leading to Mrs. Jerry's misdiagnosis. So from this case scenario, doctors and emergency room personnel should always be alert to the possibility that a heart attack could be the cause of a patient's visit to the emergency room.